Justin Trudeau was in town today. I had no idea that this was happening. He just showed up. And not only did he show up, but a crowd of PPC supporters showed up. Now, again, the PPC are the more like far right portion of the opposing parties. And I actually cannot believe that this is their fucking signs. The other options suck. People's Party of Canada.
Yeah. So can you tell where they are? Where did Trudeau show up?
So he was at I want to say it was the London Brewing Co-op, which kind of blows my mind that they would go to a brewing co-op.
Fucking dickheads.
Because the brewing, I mean,
they're normally cool.
They're Marxists, which is like, I don't know if it was just because the Liberals booked it like anyone else can book it, because I know like the university has booked events there and stuff like this, right? Like they're a business.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a matter of like, did they endorse it? Or was it just like the Liberals wanted to go somewhere and they booked it? You know what I mean? Because if it's an endorsement, then that's fucking gross. Like, you're Marxists, bud.
I could tell that logo looked familiar.
Which logo?
Like in the bottom right there? Little barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that looks so familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. So thank you for that. But, god damn it, how rude.
Yeah.
I'm mad at them.
Yep. I don't know exactly.
I'm just gonna call and say that I'm disappointed.
Well, especially like look at the PPC crowd too. Like the thing is, it wasn't that advertised. Like I didn't hear about any of this. Like I don't know what's going on. Something very weird.
The PPC has basically been hooking into the liberal like press gallery or like press release like system, and so they'll get like automatic emails of whenever Trudeau is like going to an event or whatever, and then they'll spread it through Telegram.
This is such a weird slogan to have, though. You're literally saying like, we're not running on how good we are, but everyone else sucks, so therefore vote for us. I mean, that's kind of what Two Cars was saying allows them to win to a certain extent. In that if you say the NDP is just the best we have, I mean, but like implicit with what comes with that is like, but they are still the best we have. This is just being the other options suck. It's you're not even filling it in with like, and we are the better, we are the best that can place it. And here's what we have to offer. You know, what is this? I don't even know who Nick Kerr is. What is So why would I comment on it? All right. I don't know if I should allow or deny it. It's flagging the name Nick Kerr. Who's Nick Kerr? Is this No one.
Think about how that might be pronounced if you were saying it with a harder K, I suppose, or perhaps a different letters.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Then if that was purposeful, I'm going to deny it.
Yeah.
Yet these same clowns whined and complained about the protesters at Mohawk College. Oh, yeah, I mean, that is a perfect point, and especially what we're going to get to eventually, which is the violence that happens here. When they lost their shit when there was protests outside of that Mohawk College event. Weren't they like trying to harass like the family's business owners and stuff like this? And yes, Elrod, I always fall for that shit because I'm such an innocent.
Yeah, don't read anything out loud that gets flagged. Because that's also an attempt to like get the stream shut down.
Well, the other thing that I didn't recognize, it didn't flag it the last time, so whatever. I really am the person that dude on the city council that we covered last week. I leaned over.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. It's totally me. But yes, this will just it'll be a bit loud. This is the crowd yelling at Trudeau as he's getting on the bus. Wayne Curry. And then we'll see the more violent stuff that occurred, I guess. So here's the yelling. There's
cowboy hat.
Chelsea Hillier signs. Yeah. So very angry people, and part of me is like, here's what we have to deal with, because part of me is like, yelling at Trudeau is based, but these types of people yelling at Trudeau is not based. And I have seen some people who are just like, yeah, but like, fuck Trudeau. And it's like, yeah, but we shouldn't be supporting the fascists doing the yelling here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, amazingly, you don't want to support empowering fascists.
Yeah.
And, you know, it also does say something about London, Ontario, that it's just like, oh yeah, just like a bunch of racists protesting a dude in the city where 3 months ago,
Yeah,
2 months ago,
3 months ago, on this day,
Cell
3 months
family
ago.
was killed. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Kinda
watch
so bad.
Jagmeet Singh released a video.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
dude, come on.
no, our city is, you know, it's a balancing act, because there's more of us than them, but like the fact that we have a large contingent of racist assholes that are loud is concerning. And yeah, we'll just play this. So this is the violent act that happened. I mean, it's still violent, but no one was immediately hurt, but somebody threw rocks at Justin Trudeau. So here is the video of that.
We are just like a couple.
What was that?
Was that it?
That was it. I know.
Was that it? I didn't see anything.
So what it is a handful of pebbles. You can see them, like, you can see the hand go up. I pointed even though you can't. There's a hand here, and then like these pebbles. Woo! So, woo!
Whoa.
And there's a part where it's like, yeah, not too violent, right? You're just like, is that really a big deal? And part of it is like, at the end of the day, it kind of is really still a big deal. Like, maybe we shouldn't be normalizing fascists throwing rocks at politicians, you know?
It'll be really interesting. And, you know, shitty, like interesting in a very bad way, if Canada has a political assassination before the US does, like a major one.
Well, America already has like 3 or 4 ahead of us, so it's...
I mean, but that was like a billion years ago, you know? Like, there hasn't been anything recently, and that's what matters.
Reagan was shot. I mean, he didn't die, but he was...
That was like 40 fucking years ago. Like,
I think I might have...
It doesn't mean anything.
Or nearly alive?
Yeah. And if we round up your age...
Yeah, you know, there's a line between milkshakes and pebbles. I don't even... You know, I think there is a line there. Maybe pebbles, no. Like, I mean, but you're approaching something, right? The thing that I enjoy about a milkshake or an egg, because we covered the Bernier egg thing last time, is that they're more humiliating than like harmful. And there's a way to like deal with fascists where like humiliation can be helpful, right? They can often use, and I'm not against violence against fascists, so I'll just put that out right now. But there is a time and a place, right? And sometimes they could use overt violence as a form of like compelling other people to join them, or putting on like a martyr sort of complex, like we're under siege, we're under attack, where they can't really do that. They tried really hard with the Andy No milkshaking, but it's really hard to say like, look at us, we're under assault from like these strong bad people, when the strong bad people are just cracking an egg over your head or throwing a milkshake at you. Harmful to Justin's $5,000 suit. Yeah, maybe.
Like, again, like, it's also more of a, these are bad people doing it for bad reasons. That's the end of it for me. Like, I don't give a shit if somebody, like, literally threw rocks or, like, you know,
Definitely
did other
depends on the
things that I
context.
can't say per TOS things. Like, I don't really give a shit about political violence, I'll be honest. I don't like bad people doing bad things. That's it. Like, that's it.
Right. I mean, beyond that, you could argue like whether it's going to help or hurt your cause and in what way in doing it, and that's like a separate conversation. But in this case, it's very easy. You're just like, these are fascists and fuck them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And so yeah, pretty bad. And it is worth noting, as we already brought up, that this is the 3-month anniversary when a murderer drove his car into a family in town uh, because they were Muslim. And I think it is important to I don't know, just to highlight that, to be like those are the same people who promote. I mean, their platform, and we'll get to it in a second because we'll watch some ads from that in a second. But their whole platform is anti-mass immigration and shit like this. So they are the xenophobic party. They are racist and they're anti-Muslim for the most part. And they're the ones engaging in public displays of violence after somebody in our city killed someone, a whole bunch of people because they're Muslims. So yeah, and as Captain Canuck said, I don't like Trudeau, but the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. Yes.
yeah. Um, yeah, and Muta said to be against all political violence is kind of an impossible, naive outlook. It really just matters what the violence will bring about and if you want that for society or something. And yeah, that's kind of it, right? Like,
And I think like debating
at
tactics.
some level, violence has its contexts.
Yeah. I also think too, it's like
Yeah.
debating tactics is one thing too, but if like somebody who like for example the church fires, I don't know if they're directly connected to indigenous people, and I don't know if those were necessarily like tactics that help or hurt their cause, but let's just say it hurt their cause. I would still be like, but I understand where it's coming from, and like think that the issue with what happened has less to do with the violence that they did. Violence and it's burning buildings, I know it's not really violence, but the actions that they did is not justified, but at the same sense, like I'm less perturbed by it. You know, there's a sense in which I understand the underlying systemic injustices that led to that happening, and maybe we should fix those rather than focusing on the fact that this other stuff happened. And that's
Yeah,
aside from like tactics and all that shit.
Andreas Malm kind of gets into it with how to blow up a pipeline, like
I still got
separating violence against individuals from violence against property, and violence against property is pretty much always at some level like, I don't know, I guess still for the good reasons and whatever, but yeah, like it's a thing that harms nobody.
Yeah.
Like, can be tragic and can still be bad. It can still be for the wrong reasons, but
the reason my little sis is NDP is because of Jugmeat's response to this incident. It's not nothing. Well, let's watch his response, because they released an ad today that I mean, there's a weird sense to me because I was present in this crowd. I was also angry at the fact that this was happening to a certain extent, because like it felt like politicians taking advantage of a situation, and here it is being turned into a political advertisement. So my initial thoughts about this was kind of icky. But then I watched it and it's like the reason why it's not icky for Jugmeat in particular is because of his own personal relationship with this story. And I guess like after watching this, I felt less icky about it. But I just wanted to frame that up front, that having lived in the city and lived through this, it was very weird. But yeah, here's the ad.
We've come today together in a really incredible, powerful showing of love and solidarity. Just to look around you and see how many people have come together. This is incredible. This is powerful. This is beautiful. Thank you.
All of us have gone for walks with our family in this pandemic.
because there's nowhere else to go. There's places that are shut down. So you go for a walk. To think that you can't walk safely down your own street right now. People are talking to their families and saying, you know what, maybe you shouldn't go for a walk. There are people literally thinking about whether they should walk out their front door. There was so much hate towards someone that they did not know just because of who they were, because of how they prayed, because of what they looked like. That is a reality. People live with that every day. They walk the streets wondering if I will be attacked just because of the way I look, not because of an enemy that I have, or not because of someone that's got a problem with me. Will I be attacked today just because of the way I look? That is a real question people ask. When the sister was speaking earlier, she mentioned that her nieces were asking, do I look too Muslim? We have children that are worried that they might look too Muslim if they wear a hijab. This act of terror was committed with the purpose of driving fear into the hearts of the Muslim community. So I want to say to my sisters that wear a hijab, to my brothers that wrap their head, we will not cower in fear. We will wear our turbans, our hijabs with pride, because we are proud of who we are. We will not let terror win. And what we need to do now is real action. After this act, how many more lives have to be taken before we act? How many more Muslim brothers and sisters have to lose their lives before real change is put in place? We need real action. Thank you. I commit to you that I will be an ally in fighting for a future where families can walk the streets without fear. Muslim brothers and sisters can walk the streets without looking over their corners. No one should be afraid of who they are. Together we will stand and build a Canada where no one is afraid, where we all are celebrated for who we are. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
I thought that was fairly moving.
Yeah. No, it was good. And like, I don't know. I am glad that he is talking about it also.
Yeah.
Type of thing, because like it feels like it totally dropped off of everybody else's. Everybody, like the media and everybody just kind of radars or whatever. Like it just feels like it's just a, well, that happened type of thing, and nothing has come of it, nothing has changed. So it is kind of a like, okay, yeah.
It was weird too, because like we're super,
good to be reminded.
Yeah, we're super delayed with the podcast, and so the most recent episode we released was on the NCCM recommendations. After this,
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was even then like listening to it and just being like how little has been done. But in part of that, it like gets swallowed up with the fact that we had this election, you know. It kind of like moves it off the table to like focus on that shit, because we know if like conservatives and other people get into power, like those recommendations are not gonna fucking come into play. But it's I don't know, it's very weird how we move on from these things. I mean, like how we've moved on even from the Quebec mosque shooting. But this one, like,
Yeah.
it sits weird. I mean, like, I drive by this mosque almost every single day. It's like, it's in my neighborhood, you know? It's like weird reflecting on the fact of, like, these things always happen somewhere else, you know? Like, it's weird. It's just a weird feeling. And I wish I've always wanted things to be done when they're everywhere else as well. But it's like, unlike other people, I think it's going to be more difficult for people who live here to just move on from that, you know? But I
don't know. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of the thing. Like, you know, you talk to just anybody who's not a Muslim type of thing on the street, chances are they've already forgotten about it. Like I pass by, you know, signs in Memorial every day as well. Like, they're just all over my neighborhood still.
There's still a memorial where
But it's just
where it happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a like thing. And Mo was saying it's still on his radar, of course, and it's still on the mosque's radar.
Yeah.
That almost every Friday the Sheikh brings it up. I have moved on from Christchurch. Yeah, no, that one also, like, because my mom's side of the family, like, most of them are in Christchurch. So that was also a very, like, oh, fuck type of thing, even though, you know, they're not Muslim. But,
I have to say, like, at least two of my happier moments during this pandemic were, was one, the Black Lives Matter event. I'm wearing the shirt now. But then also not the visual of the video that we just watched, but there was one a few days after where Mo, who's in the chat, Vienna, and I got to see each other in person for like the first time since the pandemic started, almost, or at least for you and I, it was since we ate the Carolina Reaper. And then
it'd been a good year.
Yeah, and
almost.
Yeah, that at least, you know, one good thing, bringing people together is nice. And again, it's nice to know that we draw bigger crowds of people who condemn these actions than are the bigots that we just watched throwing rocks at Justin Trudeau. But I don't want them to grow. I want them to be minimized. I don't know. They seem to be at least growing somewhat recently, which is slightly concerning for me. But I think the difficulty is because, like, when we used to do this shit for Pegida or find ways to disrupt them, it wasn't a pandemic. And so people felt a lot safer to go out there and to disrupt. Why do you want to go disrupt a bunch of people who don't believe vaccines work? Right?
Yeah.
It's
really just, like, changed how all of that works. It's very weird in that way.
Yeah, like this, on that note, like I captured these images. These were this is a pretty big crowd of anti-vacciners, anti-maskers just hanging out in front of a hospital, because why the fuck not?
What day was that also?
That was a Wednesday.
What the fuck are they doing out there on a Wednesday? Do none of them have jobs?
I don't know.
That's also a very kind of...
Yeah, I see whack job protests and I want to argue with them, but I don't want to be a breakthrough case. No, exactly. I just drove by with my mask, and this dude was yelling at me, and I said absolutely nothing. And then I drove back, like, I did a U-E and then came up the other side and just flipped everyone off. That was my small act of protest.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.